We have some tips and tricks and some stuff that we have pre-recorded to kind of show some techniques that we can talk through, similar to what we did in the first session.
Yeah.
So what are some of the tips and tricks that you're willing to share that if people are just getting started with the gear or may have experience and just might not know that this is another way that the equipment can be used?
Yeah, so I think we have a few videos and some images queued up here. So we'll start out with a few basic rope access techniques. So here we're going to take a look at pretty much the most basic rope access maneuver that you have, going up and down a vertical set of ropes. So here I'm setting myself up for ascent. The yellow rope is my primary rope, or my work positioning rope, if you will, and I'm setting up with ascenders, so I'm using the integrated chest ascender on the Astro harness. And then that blue rope on the right is my fall arrest or backup rope.
And that's where you got the ASAP lock.
Exactly. And so here I'm going to transition to descent. So I climbed up on my ascenders, and I'll transition to my descender on the Petzl ID. And this is pretty much the first maneuver that you'll learn in a rope access class, how to change over from one set of equipment to another. So you can see once you learn the process, it's just a couple seconds to transition your equipment to going up to down. And then in the rope access classes, folks will often learn how to climb up on their descender as well. So if you need to move up and down quite frequently, transitioning back and forth, or if you're just working a short distance, it's quite easy to go up on your descender a short distance if you need to. If you have to climb, if you have to climb a long ways, the integrated chest ascender is really the way to go. But for short ascents, climbing on your descender is really fast.
Awesome. And the nice thing about being on your descender is you can instantly descend.
Exactly,
right?
Yeah, no transition.
Perfect. All right, and let's go ahead and queue up that second video.
All right, so here it's a pretty similar system actually, going up and down on a two-rope system, but this is more for the tower industry. So I have a vertical lifeline again with the ASAP, and instead of using a second full rope with the Petzl ID on it, this is using the Grion essentially as a mini descender system. So I'm using the Grion in single mode, and this is the Grion MGO, which has that large MGO connector to clip right onto the steel structure. And so I can use the Grion to descend down that rope, and then similarly put an ascender on the rope to climb back up.
So this would be, obviously in this scenario, you could just climb up the face of the tower, but if you were working under a boom on a monopole, for instance, and needed to get down to the bottom of an antenna, you could use that Grion in single mode and then easily climb back up to the structure.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then finally, we've got one last one. This is a little bit more technical, but it's kind of just showing how easy it is to do this technique.
Right, yeah, so this is a rope-to-rope maneuver, and I think this really highlights where rope access techniques can become really beneficial for getting to hard-to-reach locations. So here you can see I'm setting myself to climb up on that set of ropes on the left, but on the right I have another set of ropes just clipped off to that carry tool accessory carabiner on the left-hand side, or sorry, on my left-hand side, on the right-hand side of the screen. And so here I'm going to use these two-rope systems, so 4 ropes total, to do some horizontal movement in free space. So I'll climb up on that left set of ropes, and I'll transition eventually onto my descender, onto my Petzl ID, onto that same rope like I did before, going up and down on one rope.
Yeah, so this is essentially the exact same thing that we just saw.
Yep, exactly.
Putting all the weight onto the ID.
All the weight on the ID, except I just have that extra set of ropes hanging off my side for now. As you can see, I'm taking my time making sure I don't get myself tangled on camera. That's one of the things that rope access students spend a lot of time learning how to do in their classes, is how to keep themselves from getting tangled up. So here you can see I'm hanging on those 2 ropes that go straight above me, and I get my equipment established on that other set of ropes. So I'm hanging on my ID on that blue rope above me, and then the blue rope coming in from the side goes into my Kroll chest ascender, and I put the handle ascender on that other rope.
So now you've got your backup lifeline on both ropes.
Yep. And there you can see, once I start lowering out on the ID, I'm just doing purely horizontal movement. So if we're working in free space, needing to move purely left and right without anchors directly accessible to you, the rope to rope, it's, like you said, a more advanced maneuver, but an awesome way to position horizontally if you need to.
Yeah, and so then once you're hanging completely vertical on that second set of ropes, you can disconnect from the first set, clean up your gear, and throw the descender on and head to the ground.
Right.